Hey, welcome to today's session. Peak Performance Secrets starts now. My name is Kamoye Benjamin, and I want to welcome you warmly to today's session, even as we're having a conversation that is intended to cause you to deploy yourself at the optimum mindset and skill set required in order for you to create what you want to have. And in this conversation, it's always about more impact, more income, more clarity, more awareness, more decisiveness, more cohesion, whatever more represents for you. I firmly believe that there is more for you and you should go for more. I always like this idea that, more doesn't mean less for you. More is just more because we live in a world that God created that is abundant in every way. And if you've been tuning in for the last couple of days, then you definitely know that we've been talking about misleading proverbs. Obviously, looking at proverbs that have been shared from, days past by wise men. We call them wise sayings, but we've been asking the question, could it be that some of these proverbs that were shared with us carried within them beliefs that then eventually limit us from showing up in the ways that we could and we should? And they limit the capacity to create more, whatever more represents. Now, today we're into another amazing proverb, and I think you will love this. You've experienced and seen this before. And it's this idea that better safe than sorry. I'm looking at what's happening with my tech over here. Hey, yo, dude, wake up. Wake up. Yeah, let me see. Is this guy awake? Yeah. He's dozing and we are working. Better safe than sorry. I'm sure you've heard this proverb. It's better safe than sorry. You're just about to go do something, you explain your elaborate plan, and this is what I'm going to do, this is where we're going to go, and this is how things are going to go. And people are like, yeah, better safe than sorry. Better safe than sorry. Now, as we've said from the very beginning, we're not demonizing these proverbs. We're seeking to understand, number one, what is the intention behind the proverb. And this proverb was really, kind of spoken in the sense of, better safe than sorry suggests that we need to take the necessary precautions, all right, in order to be cautious when we are approaching a situation. We don't want to jump in, like we're stupid. And again, remember, there's a great concept and principle in scripture where, we are encouraged to count the costs, not to go into battle with an enemy that we have not yet sized up to see whether we actually are in a position to win. And so taking precaution is necessary. I'm for that. In coaching sessions, we really work at looking at all the sides of the angle with our clients to really get them to step into the awareness of all that could potentially happen and how to prepare for it. And so being cautious, ensuring that you've done everything that you can do so that you don't come back later and say, no, I should have looked at that. I was careless. You don't come back regretting. You really look at what are some of the areas where we could fall. I'm thinking about industries like the aviation industry. A lot of precaution is taken to say, we better check that bolt. We're better safe. We're better sure that this is the case and not that. That we're over prepared. That we're not reckless or taking unnecessary chances. That is the meaning behind this amazing proverb. And when it was shared with an intention to serve and to cause us to, take a step back and look at where we're going and saying, in what ways could you potentially be sorry? Look out for that and take every measure in advance to minimize any loss. But you need to see it in advance. And we are big on that, especially in helping leaders and working with teams to really look at, wait a minute, what is the cost of going on like this? What is the cost of behaving this way? What is the cost of this culture on performance? Let us take some time. Let us invest the resources that are required in order for us to mitigate whatever the problems are. Now, I don't have a problem with that. But before you shove these proverbs in somebody's face when they're just about to step into the next step of what they're trying to do, I want us to unmask the 3 lies that exist within this proverb. Are you ready? All right, let's go for it. The first lie is that safety is good and sorry is bad. Again, I want to reframe. If you've not seen this from the very beginning, you're coming in now, I'm going to give you a quick preview of what we talked about in the very first day. We talked about the meaning-making system. We all have been created by God to understand our immediate environment and to take in information, and our mind is able to process that information and give us a next step. In other words, we have a meaning-making system where this means that. The world of computing understands it very well, that when this command is given, that should be the necessary action. We equally have a brain that processes information and looks at causes and effects and how we should deploy ourselves in a circumstance. And so a meaning-making system helps us make sense of the world that we live in and how to appropriately deploy ourselves in that particular circumstance or situation, whatever it is. And so we're looking at these proverbs again through the lens of the meaning-making system. That when I hear better safe than sorry, the meaning I make, better safe, safety is good than sorry, sorry is bad. But is that true? Is safety good? Is safety good? Is sorry bad? You see, when you put the word than, you introduce a dynamic relationship between safety and sorry. Better safe than sorry. Again, we're looking at projected beliefs that limit us, programmed beliefs within these proverbs that hold us back. And the lie that safety is good, that's one lie. And sorry is bad is a second lie. It's not true that safety is good. And I'm talking about this because I'm not in aviation, so we're not having an aviation class here. So don't put me on the pedestal and ask me, but what about airlines? But what about ships? No, I'm not in the business of airlines. I'm in the business of goal setting and goal achieving. I'm in the business of helping people create more. And if there is something that is to be considered enemy number 1 in the territory of moving forward in the direction of your dreams, it's that thing called safety. Another word that you've heard used in other places is called a comfort zone. It's safe. It's comfortable. There are no threats. I'm completely familiar with what's happening. And so when we're talking about this, we're looking at it through the lens of creating the future that we know is possible for us. The business, the investments that will bring the solutions to the market that you and only you can deliver. And so when somebody says better safe than sorry, hear what they're trying to tell you, but also catch that limiting belief that it doesn't get to you. What happens when somebody sneezes? Oh my goodness, here's a handkerchief, but let me also move away from you because I don't want to catch what you are carrying. The first lie is safety is good and sorry is bad. What does that do to us? It keeps us in our comfort zone. What does that do to you when you're stepping forward in the direction of your dream? I don't think that this message was ever spoken to some guy who was lounging in their house, doing nothing, sitting in their couch and making no progress. And the elders came and said, it's better to be safe than sorry. It's better to be lying there doing nothing than to go out and look for a job and be sorry. Do you think that's when the proverb was kind of created? I think the proverb was created to pull back people who wanted to go into unknown territory, to put a halt on people who are adventurous and seeking to create what they were sensing ought to be created. Better safe than sorry. Is that how we as human beings managed to conquer the kingdom of flight? People died. Otto Lilienthal fell from this, wings that he was using to kind of introduce us to the kingdom of flight. The Wright brothers never had a pilot's license. Better safe than sorry. There are people who went in those experiments and they died. They died. They paid a price, the ultimate price. Better safe than sorry. This is something that when someone tells you and you've just come from sharing with them all your plans and your dreams and you elaborate, including your mom or your dad or your uncle or your grandpa, grandma, whoever that person is, can you take what it is that they are telling you and then leave the rest out? Do not allow those projected beliefs and assumptions and limitations to come into your workshop where you're creating. You cannot entertain doubt. You cannot entertain, a negative idea. And so when you're looking at these statements and seeing better safe than sorry, tune in. Because that's lie number 1. Let's go to lie number 2. The next port after safety is sorry. Ever left the presence of an elder, father, somebody senior, and they told you better safe than sorry? What message do you hear? Like the moment I depart from safe, the moment I make a choice to move in the direction of my dreams, I'm no longer safe. I'm no longer safe. And the next port I will arrive at is called sorry. It's not long before sorry catches up with me. And we're making meaning from similar interactions and conversations we've had with these people where, the Swahili proverb, kind of says, asiyesikia la mkuu huvunjika guu. Translated to English loosely, it's like, he who does not listen to the counsel of the wise or the senior or the elder or the more mature will definitely break their leg down the road. And it's to me like you will fall into the pit. If you don't listen to the wise, you will fall into the pit. And so your mind is making meaning. Better safe than sorry. That came from somebody who asiyesikia la mkuu huvunjika guu. So from this port called safe, if I depart, I'm no longer safe. And what's the next port I'm arriving at? Sorry. That's a lie. Because guess what? The next port, when you leave safe, is not sorry. Let's define this point here as there. A place where you become aware of the possibilities, the dreams, the potential that is within you is beckoning and saying, you could have this. You could be this. You could do this. You could start that business. You could quit this job. You could create this new product. You can venture into this unknown territory. And you've got a vision, you've got a picture of a desired outcome, and it's being birthed within you. What is desire? Desire is the effort of an unexpressed possibility seeking to be birthed within and through you. And what is it that we know about, those things that we've never done? They appear risky. How are you going to pay your staff? I don't know. How are you going to? I don't know. I don't know anything. I just know that this is the next step I need to take. And so if you're here, and here this is a place we're calling safe, which is here right now, this proverb, better safe than sorry, says you better stay here. In addition to it telling you, make sure that you look at number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, make sure all the cables are connected, because it's better to be safe than to be sorry. I get that message. Don't be reckless. Don't be presumptuous. Don't take things for granted. I get that. And I'll take that message. I'll go back to my drawing board and I'll make sure that I cross the T's and dot the I's, make sure everything is looking spick and span. And then guess what? I'm going to take off. But you want to catch this belief that the next port I'm going to arrive at is called sorry. No, it's not. Are you going to have low moments along the journey? Are you going to have points where you fail? Are you going to have points where you don't achieve what you wanted? Yes. And if you're translating this to mean sorry, guess what? You're going to stop your journey. Because better safe than. Whereas the truth is that if you don't take that step in the right direction, guess what? It's only a matter of time when you're going to be down here and tell you what, this is indeed the pot called sorry. You're going to be sorry you never took action. You're going to be sorry you never stepped forward. You're going to be sorry you never invested in that program. You're going to be sorry that you never invested in a coach. You'll be sorry you didn't take that next step. You'll be sorry you listened to the proverb, better safe than sorry. Because guess where safe brought you? It brought you directly to a pot called sorry. Isn't this where most people are when they're coming to the end of their lives? Regretting that they didn't do what they could have done. Matter of fact, things didn't go as bad as they had predicted they would go. Wanting and wishing to take more risks. That when they're here, they're like, you know what? I would have gone for what I wanted. I would have pursued my dreams. I would have thrown caution to the wind. I would have gone further because I'm resourced, because I have what it takes. Guess what? It wasn't going to be that serious. It was never going to be that serious. Isn't that the reason why maybe grandpas also give a lot of sugary products, sodas, cakes to their grandchildren? Because after they've raised their own kids and they're at the end, they're like, by the way, it was never that serious. Feed them the sugar. Give them the chocolates. 8 p.m. Give them a whole glass of... That's what I see my kids with my with their grandpa. My father-in-law. I see that. I see my nephews and my nieces with my mom, who is their grandma. She's spoiling them sick. She's the same one who better safe than sorry in that moment. Now they're like, you know what? After all he said and that, it's never that serious. Give the people sugar. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You'll make it alive. I wish we had such mentors. I wish we had such coaches who are going to be saying, go jump. What's the worst that can happen? You die, we bury you. But you did it. Better safe than sorry. Let's look at the last lie here. The last lie is that avoiding potential negative consequences is a win. Again, it's a limiting belief. It's a subtle message. It's a message that nobody tells you. Avoiding potential negative is a win. No, but the proverb implies that better what? Better safe. Avoiding that potential issue is a win. But when we're talking about it in the journey of moving from here to there, I showed it to you in the previous slide. What's a win? This is the win. This is the win. The lessons that are packed inside here, these are the wins. This is not sorry. This is a win. And it brings you there. You arrive at that destination. You achieve that goal. You achieve the purpose. And so the lie that avoiding potential negative consequences is a win is untrue. When you avoid, you're operating from what we call a play not to lose mind frame. And I want to share with you, what exactly are you pursuing? You're pursuing safety. What you're playing is you're playing. Yes, I'm playing, Benjamin, but I'm playing not to lose. This is a completely different game than when you're playing to win. These are completely different games. And in the work that we do with CEOs, executives, and senior managers, the biggest conversation that we ask, and I want to ask you this question: are you leading from safety or purpose? And how do you know? Because when you're leading from safety, if I can enlighten you for a minute, if you're leading from safety, the core dominating emotion is fear. I'm afraid that X could happen. I'm afraid that Y could happen. I'm avoiding this. I'm avoiding the other. All these things could potentially happen. And so you're playing and deploying yourself in the process, but your play is not so that you gain something. It's so that you can avoid a loss. The people who come back into the dating scene after being heartbroken, they don't put a lot of their efforts towards having amazing relationships. Some of them put all of their efforts towards making sure we don't break up. I want to make sure we don't get into a fight. I want to make sure that it doesn't go like the way it ended with James. And that's a very different energy than when you're playing to win, which is I want this relationship to end in marriage. I want this outcome to be realized. In other words, the core dominating force is the emotion of passion. It's the emotion of love, and it answers the question, what do I want? You'll be surprised how many people don't know the answer to this question. But you know the answer they know? What I don't want. I'm laughing that way because the awareness of this shifts the way you deploy yourself into circumstance. And that's what peak performance is. It's tuning into the mind frame that is required to create the results that are necessary. Because you're going to create a result either way. You either create it by design or by default. And when you're operating from this place of, oh, guess what? I won. Why? Because I avoided a potential negative consequence. No. If you talk to people who failed to invest because they were avoiding a loss, their greater regret is that they missed the swing in the market. They missed the bull run. And because they're driven by fear, they jump into the trades so late in the day that they become the prophet of their own doom, because the market begins to turn against them. When we play to win, we calculate. We are safe in the sense that we take calculated action to say, if I make this move, I'm expecting that. If I make this, then I'm expecting that. This is the outcome I want. And so when you launch like the Wright brothers, you're going to come down and you pick the lessons, go into the workshop, adjust it a little bit, come back out and take it over there. Noah was not a captain, but he built a ship. He built a ship. And I like this idea of Thomas Troward's quote when he says that the law of flotation, talking about vessels that float on water, the law of flotation was not discovered by contemplating the sinking of things. Better safe than sorry. Was not contemplated by was not discovered by contemplating the sinking of things, rather by contemplating the floating of things and intelligently asking why they did so. Better safe than sorry is packed with so many lies, and today I just wanted to uncover 3 and stir within you the awareness to begin to see the lies that we believe without rejecting them, the lies that we believe and how they enter our system and limit how we show up and inhibit how we could deploy ourselves into circumstances. What's the one idea that you've picked up today that resonated with you the most? I'd like for you to type it and drop it into the chat. I'd like to hear from you. And in what ways has this proverb served you and also sabotaged you as you were in the goal setting and goal achieving process? Love to hear from you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Join me tomorrow as we unpack another proverb and really check what are the limiting beliefs or lies that are inside that same proverb that was intended to serve us but is beginning to sabotage us. You owe yourself, and only you are to blame for when the proverb does not serve you but it sabotages you. I don't know who you're going to blame. There's no There's no wise elder around who shared with us these proverbs. Only you and you. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been Peak Performance. Be well, and bye for now.